It's the Kink Consultant Podcast, where we're turning up the heat on all things kink and dating, relationships, and pop culture. So close the door, plug in your headphones, and let's get down to it. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of The Kink Consultant. I am delighted to be joined by Dr. Tara, who I had the pleasure of being on her podcast, Luvbites, earlier this year. And now I am honored to have her on mine. Welcome, Tara.
Hello. So excited to be here, the Kink Consultant.
I'm so excited to have you on. I had a ton of fun recording with you. I'm not just saying it. I think I told you this. It was one of my highlights of my year.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that episode was so brilliant and it's doing so well. Lots of people find it really helpful and everyone's watching. There's a lot of views on YouTube. So definitely want the listeners here to go watch it because Amanda, the Kink Consultant, she has dropped so many gems.
Oh, thank you. I know we threw some real stuff on that episode, right?
Yeah.
We went everywhere from diaper to pee to poop, everywhere.
Yeah, all things kink. But that's the thing, like normalizing these things and helping people feel less shameful is so important. And I think that's like the Lord's work. And you're doing important things. And I'm just so excited to be able to come on your podcast as well.
You are equally doing important things at a very high level. Front and center stage. Today, we're going to talk about the book that you just released this year, your work as a professor, and even some TV work you've done over the past few years. Lots of interesting things going on. So it's really, thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot coming from you.
Of course. Yeah. I noticed like all the things that you do.
Oh, you're so sweet. So Dr. Tara, you are a tenured professor of relational sexual communication. What are you teaching? What falls under that?
Yeah, that's so funny. Actually, my textbook is right here, the one that we use in the university.
Oh my
It's called
God.
Sexual Communication Research in Action. And I co-authored, you can see my long last name. I co-authored it with two other professors, and it's now being used in various universities in the United States. But basically, the class that I teach at Cal State Fullerton encompasses sex from early age till sex when you're aging. So, from the beginning of sexuality, we teach anatomy and like terminology of everything. And then we go into your sexual debut, which is when you lose your virginity. But we don't use that term anymore because it has a negative connotation. You're not really losing anything, you're gaining. So we call it sexual debut with jazz.
I love that. This is the first time I'm hearing that.
Yeah, so in sexology, when we teach it in the university, we call it sexual debut. When was your sexual debut? The first time you had sex. So we teach that concept, research around it, and up until dating and then being in a relationship and sexual communication in that, go into micro and macro communication and sexual communication and aging. For women, there will be like perimenopausal time, menopausal time, like what's happening in the body, how do you communicate these things, and also men experiencing erectile dysfunction, basically from the start of life to the end of life, and the sex and relational things that happens in between.
Oh my God, thank God this exists.
I know, yeah. It's a very popular class, but I'm surprised not every university offers it.
I am both surprised and not surprised because
right?
It's forward thinking. But there's not one person who's going to listen to this and think, oh, that's not necessary. That's extremely important information. It's like the guidebook to life that you're not getting.
Exactly. It's like, I want someone to teach me this class and how to do taxes. Like,
yes.
Real shit,
I know. I would say I was a naturally good person when it came to sex and sexuality. I had a very open-minded mother who was very openly
so
communicated. I was so lucky. Do you know she was on my podcast earlier this year? That's how lucky I am.
I love that.
She did a great job. But taxes, money, I have zero comfort with anything to do with that. You're right.
That's why I have a tax consultant. But that's the thing. The hardest things to talk about in life is sex and money.
And
when
you really
master one, the other one is still there that you have to master.
Isn't it really funny? And you're shamed in both instances. If you're not good with money, if you're not good at sex, if you don't walk that line perfectly, especially on the sex side, there is a lot of societal shame in the work we do trying to peel away.
That's why we're always censored.
Oh my God, I was thinking about that.
Censorship is insane. And even though I do get good exposure and people always ask me, how do you do that? And I still get censored. There are videos that get deleted. I just put out so much that maybe people don't notice.
Yeah.
But I play the volume game when I make sex positive content because I know that a third of that will be deleted.
Wow, that's how censored you are?
Yeah, I'm super censored. People just don't notice because I do put out a lot of
You
content.
put out a ton of content. You're
Yeah.
doing really well on the quantity game and quality.
I love social media because it's such a quick way to feel good about sexuality. And if I can be that reminder for people through like a 30-second video, I'm down for it.
Oh my God, you're renewing my love for social media a little bit because I'm in a
Yeah.
love-hate situation with it at the
I
moment. But
know.
you're right. It just because we're shadow banned at times doesn't mean it's not being helpful and not fun. It is fun.
Yeah. If it positively affects 5 people that day, I'm good.
Damn, heavy but true. Okay, I need to get back out there. Okay.
Yes.
So your work spans basically all of sexuality?
The university course, it's geared towards communication. Each of those steps in life and what happens in your sex life, what is the communication function in it? So it's like geared towards communication at every step of your sexual and relational life. And I think my work also surrounds that because I wouldn't say I'm an expert on all things sex. Obviously, there's so many things I don't know. A lot of kink stuff I don't know. Tantric sex, I don't know much about it at all. And then there's the whole world of fetish and BDSM, all of those things I don't know much about. But when it comes to sexual communication and the social scientific research in how to have a great sex life, what aspects to think of when it comes to taking care of your sexual wellness, how do you make sure that you feel sexually satisfied in a relationship? I have all those tools, just not particularly with the kink or the deep topics of those things. But on my podcast, I love talking to people like you and other experts that are more specific on things. I recently had a cuckolding couple on my show talking specifically about their cuckolding journey. And I always find that so fascinating because I only know about it through my academic lens.
Yeah.
But people who actually do it have so much more knowledge.
Oh, it is an actual fact, right? When you do it, you
Yeah.
go through it. But even for me, I know I call myself the kink consultant, but it's impossible to know every kink fetish and understand it thoroughly. It's through talking to people. And I do the same thing on this podcast. I invite
Yeah.
people who live a very specific lifestyle or have a very specific fetish to talk about it
Yeah.
more openly. Anyone who is listening needs to check out Dr. Tara's podcast, Luvbites. That's Luv bites, as opposed to how you probably imagined it being spelled, because you have such interesting guests. And my favorite thing is you go there with every question. If a question pops into your mind, it's getting asked, and
Yeah.
it's the questions we all want to know.
Yeah. My brand is say what the fuck ever.
Yes. Okay. But that's perfect because you are the sexual communication guru,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. My opinion on this is if you're coming from a place of curiosity and you have an open line of communication, that's the best foundation.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Like, I'm speaking to
Totally.
the expert now.
Totally, yeah. Everybody knows how important communication is. But in every relationship and every personal development, there's a lot of prerequisites. Speaking like a professor,
Yeah.
there are a lot of prerequisites in order to be a competent communicator. If you're dating someone, that relationship, first off, needs to be safe. There needs to be emotional intimacy. There needs to be the feeling of safety that whatever you say is not going to be poorly perceived or judged. There needs to be consistency. You need to be able to trust your partner that this is a consistent partner. There are so many things that need to happen in the relationship with someone you're dating in order for you to be a good communicator.
Yes.
Yeah, these things are needed as well. It's easy for experts or gurus out there to say, you gotta communicate more. I think everybody knows that. But here's the thing. Every relationship needs these prerequisites, and that's why you have to also work on these things simultaneously. If you don't have emotional safety and closeness in the relationship and trust that you won't be judged, then you're not gonna say anything. I get it. I won't say anything either.
I know the fear of judgment is huge. One of the biggest deterrents from people being more open. Do you have any recommendations on how people can establish better safety in their relationship?
I would
Emotional safety.
I would say read my book. How
Perfect
do you
segue.
like it? A guide for getting what you want in bed. Here's the thing. Establishing emotional safety is one of the most important things in a relationship. But at the same time, you have to have some more information and knowledge on how to be in a relationship. And that's why gaining more information through listening to podcasts, reading articles, reading a book, How Do You Like It? Or any other book out there that's written by credible sources. All of these things helps you feel more confident. And the more confident you feel because you have the language, you have the knowledge, the more confident you feel, the more likely you're going to be able to communicate the needs for emotional safety and to express yourself in ways that provide safety to your partner. You have to have more information. I think people were thrown into romantic relationships. When we're 15, we're like, yeah, the hormones are running and we're horny and we just want to date. Like we want to get together.
Yeah.
But nobody has ever been taught anything related to how to be in a romantic relationship, what to say, how to show up. What does your partner need from you? You don't know. And that's why I wrote this book. It covers everything in the more foundational way. It's not in depth about anything, but it covers everything in a more foundational way. If you're curious about what am I missing in a romantic relationship or if I'm dating, when you read my book, you'll understand all the different aspects of the things that you need and how to do them. It's just not digging deep into anything. For example, I talk about how to practice light BDSM at home and what BDSM stands for example, but I don't talk about the deep experiences of them because that's not what the book is about. The book is a foundational book that surveys all topics in sex and relationships.
I love that because people need to start with the foundations. Even in the work I do, I meet a lot of people and it's like, oh, you're struggling with some of even the basic communication about sex in the first place. And I do view BDSM and you can do it at a beginner level, but you need that foundation of communication. So it's super important to have that. Okay.
But talking about emotional safety, I think the most important thing that you can do for your partner is whenever they express something, don't give any sort of hint of judgment. No judgment whatsoever. So let's say your partner is voicing a concern. I just don't feel that much in sync with you. I feel a bit disconnected with you for the last few days. Instead of being defensive, like, why? Why would you think that? Instead of saying that, go, I hear you. I'm here with you. And let's make you feel better. What can we do to make you feel better? That's all you need to do. People need to understand that you're in this together. It's teamwork. It's group project. And instead of defending, like, why? What's wrong? What did I do? It's not about you. They don't feel good. Just say, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. I'm here with you. I'm listening to you. What can we do? That's all you have to do. And that's providing emotional safety. Over time, that type of response, the openness and the understanding and the empathy creates a lot of emotional safety. And I think we can all do that better.
Amen to that. It's what we all want. We just want to be heard and accepted.
Yeah.
Men and women. No one needs to go into fix-it mode immediately. It's being held in a space where you're able to share emotions.
It's natural to view this as something that women need, but men need it too.
Absolutely.
Men probably need it more because they were raised by parents or guardian that told them to man up. Don't show your emotions. Don't cry. Don't be a sissy. It's just so much negative emotional reaction feedback for men so that men just couldn't show emotions in a healthy way for a long time. But now I know that there's a lot more podcasts and books and people talking about how men should show more emotions and it's healthy and emotional intelligence is really important. Giving them space too. Sometimes my husband will talk about something that he's concerned about and he will cry instead of saying things like, oh, don't cry. Because even if you mean well, but if your words are don't cry, why? What's wrong? What's wrong with crying? There's nothing wrong with crying. Crying is great. It's an emotional expression. So even things like that, it gives negative subliminal messages to your male partner that they shouldn't be doing this and that this is perceived negatively. So even if you mean well and say, oh no, don't cry, it's bad. It's bad. Like it's bad communication. What you actually want to do is, I'm here, babe. Cry it out. Talk to me. And what can I help? How can I help? What can I do? That's all.
Hey Kinksters, if you and your partner want to deepen your DS dynamic and feel supported every step of the way, I'm hosting an intimate couples retreat in Las Vegas March 19th through 23rd, 2026. You'll stay in a luxury home with private bedrooms, kick things off with a welcome dinner, and spend the weekend reconnecting, exploring, and having fun. My Dom and I will be there the entire time, guiding you through the experience, whether you're stepping into the Dom role, the sub role, or still figuring out your dynamic together. It's application only and spots are limited. So head to amandadames.com/couples-retreat to join the waitlist and apply.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm letting that land because I will admit to it. Sometimes defensiveness is my first thing because I'm like, it's my fault. I need to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's an important part of it. You hear something, you feel a certain way, take a deep breath and just remind yourself this isn't all about me. Even if it's a little bit about you, it's not.
Yeah.
You got to make space for that other person's emotions. I love hearing this from you. I'm literally having a moment right now of I'm so lucky I get to talk to all of these interesting people on the podcast.
I love that. I think gratitude is really important too in a relationship. what you just said, that's the feeling of gratitude. I try to feel that consciously every day. Now I get to be with Amanda, the King consultant, for the next hour. I'm so grateful. And in a relationship too, when you look at your partner or someone you're just starting to date, you look at them, you want to feel grateful. If you look at them and you feel annoyed, or if you feel tense, or if you feel like, oh, not them again, that's time to reevaluate if that's a good relationship for you, or if you need to have a big conversation to change that. Because when you look at your partner, you should feel grateful.
Oh, damn, that's heavy stuff, because you're basically saying these are the moments that if you're not feeling that, you need to look at the whole relationship.
Yeah, I've had clients that say sometimes my husband walks in the room and my body literally tenses up. I'm like, whoa, that is not good.
I definitely felt that way about my ex-fiance. Sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, when is the weekend over so we can just go back to work?
And it was your fiance too.
It's so hard sometimes when you're in it to know how unhappy you are until you're out of it, because we're almost programmed to think it's normal as long as society says it's normal.
100%.
You bought the house, you're engaged, this is what your life is supposed to be.
Yeah, you're successful.
100% that. It's like, oh, you've done it. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't feel good, then it's just you not appreciating what you have, as opposed to thinking maybe this isn't what I wanted in the first place, you know?
Oh, exactly. I'm currently on my second husband.
We love a second husband.
Thank you. Thank you. The first one was a trial, but when I was married to my first husband, he was a wonderful man. We were not compatible, and sometimes when I come home, I'll feel a little pit in my stomach. It's nothing against him per se, because he's a great person. We're just not compatible, but then I try really hard to be in it. So we were together 3 years, but after a year and a half, there were so many signs, and I talk about this thoroughly in my book, because in the book, I also use myself as an example, because I've made so many mistakes. So it's like a good example on the struggles that people go through, because I have gone through them, and then how to come out on the other side. But I felt like I was always walking on eggshells a bit, because I will say something and then he'll be a bit defensive, because he probably feels my body is disconnecting from him. And people are scared when you love your partner so much, but they are disconnecting from you. You just try to do anything, and sometimes it comes off as toxic. I think he felt me disconnecting, so he was trying really hard, and it's obviously not working. And at the end of the day, we had to end the relationship and got a divorce. And that was like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my whole life. I cried every day for 2 weeks. I felt so much shame, because where I'm from, I'm originally from Thailand. Where are you from? Are you from Vegas?
No, I'm from Pennsylvania, but I grew up in Ireland with my mom. And my mom's Irish, so I grew up in Ireland from the age of 11 to 24, moved to New York for over 10 years, and then just moved to Vegas 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you've
moved
lived
around
in different places.
I
Yeah.
lived in different places. And then culturally,
Yeah.
my dad's from Iran, my mom's from Ireland, so I was first generation American. But a lot of different cultural things around ideals and relationships and what you're supposed to want.
Oh, yeah. Both Irish and Iranian don't get a divorce.
Yeah, no, 100%. Even
Yeah.
getting a divorce in Ireland until recently was extremely difficult.
For me, going through that, and also being a professor that teaches about healthy sexual communication, relationship satisfaction, but yet here I am in a failed marriage.
Wow.
Huge shame. I worked really hard to overcome all of that, but now I am so grateful that I've gone through divorce, because now I can relate to millions of people. Literally, divorce rate is 50%. So I can relate to millions of people that have gone through it and are now like, oh my God, how do I feel more confident in dating? How do I communicate about sex now after I divorce? Like, I talk about all of that in my book. If you have never gone through divorce, you have no idea the complexity of feelings when you go through divorce, because you feel hate, you feel angry, you also feel sad, you also feel a little bit pathetic, you also feel really happy and liberated and free, but you also then feel sad again and depressed, and then you also feel really excited. It's a crazy time right after you get a divorce. I would say 3 to 6 months. It's like a really crazy time mentally.
So I eloped when I was 20 and have my own divorce story from that, but it's
Oh my God.
I'm going to tell you what's different. We broke up. I say this because we didn't align on the kink side. He was completely vanilla and I wasn't, but great guy. No issue with him, but I was a lot younger. I was so young, and I'm grateful I was so young. But I think that as an adult, my ex-fiance and I had been dating for 7 years before we broke up. And I'm actually really grateful we didn't do a big wedding or any type of wedding in front of people and then have to get the government involved. It was enough to sell our house together. I cannot even imagine the extra work of actual divorce paperwork and lawyers. We didn't need lawyers to sell a house. We just sold it. There's so many added layers, I think, from the
Mhm.
outside of what a divorce must be like. And then
Yeah.
I can relate just going through a breakup and being the kink consultant. And it's like, oh, we're supposed to listen to you for advice. There's a lot of
Exactly.
shame in that.
Exactly. Yeah. And now with my husband, I literally use all of the tools that I had but did not use with my first husband. When we first met, I told him the hardest two things to talk about, money and sex. I immediately had the question of number one, the way I grew up in Thailand is my dad is a provider and he takes care of the family, and that's what I'm looking for. So I first off talk about money and how that works if you're dating me and if we're getting married.
I love that.
Basic, only dating a provider. Number two, sex. I'm naturally a non-monogamous person, so I want to practice ethical non-monogamy, and whatever it looks like for us, we can talk about the boundaries or what we want to explore, but I will never be monogamous. I am a non-monogamous person, maybe polyamorous, it depends on who I'm with, but basically that's the relational and sexual structure that I'm interested in. So I put that out there, the hardest things, sex and money. This is my stance. And here we are, 6 years later. He loves me for who I am. He actually really loved that I communicated all of that on the first date, because he's like, okay, now I know what you're about, what you stand for. I know what I stand for. I can step up to that plate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, happy ever since.
Did you tell other people you were dating on the first date, or did you see something in him where you were like, this is someone I want to be with, so I'm going to be open with him?
I saw something.
Okay, that
Yeah,
makes a lot
I
of
saw
sense.
something in
Yeah.
him. He is very open-minded. He used to be a dentist and he quit it completely to pursue art. He's now an oil painter.
And I've seen from your Instagram that sometimes you share when you go to an opening, he has beautiful art.
Thank you.
You both are quite creative then.
Yeah,
Some people might not think social media is creative. I think it's very creative. I love your content there, but
it's very creative. It needs a
yeah.
lot of creativity to be interesting and engaging.
Engaging, and you have
Um,
so much great energy, which I know you're bringing here to the podcast today. And I can
Thank
only
you.
imagine, were you energized every step of the way with writing the book? I want to understand the process. What made you decide I have enough knowledge now, I'm writing the book?
I think there were three signs for me.
Okay.
One was I started having a lot of fans and followers on social media that I just thought like I should create like a sex Bible, something that has everything that I know on a nutshell, right? A foundational way, not too deep, but has everything in it for my fans and followers so that they have this one book that they can like always go to and refer to. So that was the first sign of my social media blowing up, and I just feel like it's a good group of people to have this with them. The second one is I started having literary agents reaching out to me and say, hey, do you have an agent yet? We want to represent you. And I had to interview a few of them because obviously not all of them give me a good deal.
Yeah.
There's quite a few that are sharks. So be careful, guys out there, if you want to write a book and want to get a literary agent. But basically found this woman who reached out to me on LinkedIn, and she's amazing and she has been a great advocate for me. So then when I started having agents reaching out, I'm like, oh, wow, maybe that's a universal sign that I should write a book because all these literary agents think I should. And then the third sign was I felt comfortable in my own, because I started this book 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
At that point, it was after I got tenure at my university and I was at the pinnacle of my academic career. So at that point, I had the confidence to write my own book and use my own voice and share my personal experiences. So yeah, the confidence that came from getting tenure and becoming a more badass professor, and then the agents reaching out, and then my social media blew up. So I just thought, you know what? There's so many signs. I'm just going to do it.
Hey, Kinksters, if you ever thought I want to play, but I don't even know where to start, I've got you. My personal and completely free BDSM checklist helps you and your partner build a tailored yes, no, and maybe list. You'll figure out what sounds interesting, what actually lights you up, where your desires overlap, and where the sexy adventure begins. It's fun, it's clear, and makes scene planning way easier, whether you're a dom, sub, or switch. Grab your checklist right now at amandadames.com/BDSM list, or click the link in the show notes. Good for you. Had the literary agents reaching out as well.
Yeah, but then I also don't think people need to wait until an agent reach out to them to write a book. If you have a passion, you can reach out to them. They're always interested in receiving pitches.
You're like a motivational speaker on top of everything else. Again, to your energy, I love it.
Yeah, I'm always like, yes, you can do it. You can.
I know couples need this. It doesn't matter if you're just starting dating someone or been in a relationship for 20 years. If you're having trouble with some of this basic communication around sex and relationships, People not getting what they want in bed, I think, is one of the saddest things ever because in a lot of ways, it is one of life's few free pleasures. You meet someone and you're able to have this magical connection, but it's not magical. You talk about it, you explore it, you share what you're looking for, and then you get to a good place. The foundation is important and you're helping people achieve that.
I always tell people, listen, we're humans. We need these three things: eating, talking, fucking.
Yes.
And in all these things, you need to educate yourself. Eating. If you are not eating well, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna die early. That's just the thing, is you gotta eat healthy, but you gotta learn how to eat healthy. What are some of the things that are healthy for you? There's learning into that.
Yeah.
Same with talking. I know that there's talking like we're talking now. Why do I need to learn? Like I learned how to talk since I was 3. But there's a difference between just talking versus effectively talking.
Yeah.
And I think the book talks about various different topics and various different ways to effectively talk. And then fucking. People often say to me, oh, even animals fuck. Why do we need to learn anything? It's natural instinct. Sure, I feel sad for your partner.
Like, who said that?
So many people have said that to me, usually men.
Okay, I feel sad for
Yeah.
your partner too.
Yeah, usually men at networking or dinner parties. I'll sit next to someone, they'll be like, oh, what do you do? And then I talk to them and then they're like, oh, I don't need help in that. We're animals. Like we have natural instinct. I'm just like,
I really
rolling
want to
my
talk to
eyes.
their partner.
Exactly.
Please bring me your partner so I can verify all of this information. Okay.
I bet she has never come in her life. Anyways,
faking it. Yeah.
yeah, I think talking and fucking are the things that I love educating people about, and that's what the book is about. It covers many different topics, from communicating about frequency, communicating about your preferences, communicating about kinks, and then how to bring things up if it's an issue. If your partner has sexual dysfunction, how to bring those things up, or if you have sexual dysfunction, how to bring it up, how to bring up use of porn, how to bring up you want to start sexting. What do you do if you want to start sexting? There's so many different communication related things in the book that I think if you read the book or listen to it, it's on Audible, Spotify. If you just listen or read the book, you will learn at least 10 new little skills to improve your life in general.
I want to assign this to all of my clients as a prerequisite.
I know.
Please read this because I
It's
work
a
with a lot
really
of
good
couples.
prerequisite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll work together. I love that. I see how everything you've mentioned is a common topic that comes up with people in my DMs on social media. People ask these questions so regularly, and I'm so excited that I now get to point to your book directly and all of
Yeah.
the information in here.
Well,
But you-
the very first chapter talks about what is your sexual profile, and it is a sex personality test. So once you take the test in the book, it will tell you what your acronyms are. Mine is DKFA, dynamic, kinky, flexible, animalistic. And that is how I describe myself as a lover or my preferences in bed. Even if you just read or listen to the first chapter, you already learn so much about who you are sexually and have the terminology, the language to talk to your partner about your preferences based on this test.
That's why reading also is so important. So many people just need the language. To your point on talking, we just need the
Yeah.
words to be able to communicate how we're feeling. And I know that sounds easy. Oh, we're taught to talk from the age of 3. But until you can populate a menu of what you want or what you're looking for, really hard to do without the language.
You're right. And you know, even me recently learned that I am into kitchen table poly. When I teach about this class, I don't necessarily go in depth about polyamory. I talk about what polyamory is, how it's positioned within overall E&M, but I don't go in depth about the 30 different kinds of polyamory. Then I learn for myself because we have been non-monogamous since the start, but we mainly go to sex parties and stuff. It's been more recently that we started dating other people in a romantic relationship. So we have transitioned into just general E&M to poly.
Yeah.
And now that we're poly, I had to learn the different types of poly because I'm like, okay, what type of poly am I? And then I learned that's what I want. I want kitchen table poly. I want all of us to hang out and be together. And my husband is dating a woman and she's cool. And we met before we follow each other on Instagram. She came to our house for dinner. It's cool. I like kitchen table poly, but that's the thing. This is my case in point. I didn't even know that word. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that that's what I want, but now I know I can't stop saying it. I keep
I
telling
love
people
it.
that's what I'm into. Kitchen table poly.
See, you bring this energy to everything. I can
Yeah.
see how excited you are, and you're like, this is who I am. And that
I'm
is.
so excited because people are like, oh, so how does it work? I'm like, we're just kitchen table, babe.
And are you dating anyone seriously right now?
Yeah, I'm also dating someone in the UK. So I see him when I'm in the UK and I spend most of my time in the US with my husband. I don't date anyone right now in the US. So
Okay.
I separate it that way, UK, US, but they know about each other and hopefully they can hang out one day. But since he's abroad, it's hard. But the person that my husband's dating is in LA, so it's easier for all of us to hang out.
Easier in that way. Okay.
Yeah. There's just so much love in it. I love it. I really love the expansiveness of it.
Oh, I love that. And expansiveness is a great word. It is just like a growing,
Yeah.
your kitchen table grew. At least by
Kitchen
one
table.
person for now. Let's talk about the UK because at first people are like, how does that work? But you have been spending a little more time in the UK over the last few years, right?
So much time. I spend about 4 to 5 months in a year in the UK.
Because you film a show called Celebs Go Dating.
Yeah, I am the sex expert and one of the hosts of the TV show called Celebs Go Dating. And it's a huge show. There has already been 14 seasons and it's just got renewed. So I'm going back next year for season 15. But I
Amazing.
basically have done 3 seasons. They added me as a third host and sex expert on the show for the last 3 seasons. So I have done season 12, 13, and 14. And
Amazing.
it's been so much fun. The premise of the show is we usually have about 6 to 8 celebrities per season. And we work with them through consulting and therapy. We basically coach them and then send them out on dates. And a lot of times they find it successful and they find their partner.
Why are they struggling with dating? What do you
You know,
find?
it's like everybody else.
Yeah.
It's the expectations, the communication. They're not good at communicating. Even though they're celebrities and they're in the limelight, a lot of them actually struggle with self-esteem. They can come off very confident,
Yeah.
but they actually struggle internally. And some of them don't know what they want really because they're maybe younger and they have just been on reality TV or movies or TV shows and they randomly date a bunch of different people and they just didn't have directions or the deep understanding of who they are. So a lot of it is life coaching.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm on one lately about how society tells us we want one thing, and it's so hard for us to look inside and think, what am I actually drawn to? And
Yeah,
it sounds
exactly. And I haven't had a celebrity on that show that wanted to be in a non-monogamous or poly relationship. I hope that next season we get to have that representation.
Yeah.
Because so far the show has been quite traditional, although we have really good representation of people of different ages. Like we have people that are 22 and people that are like 65. And then we also have trans people, we have LGBTQ, we have all those representation, but we don't have relational structure representation. Everyone so far on the show wanted monogamous relationship. So hopefully in the next season or the future, we have some sort of representation for non-monogamy or poly.
I really hope so. I'm so glad you said that too, because it's worth celebrating all of the other diversity that exists in the show.
Yeah.
But I think this speaks to that a monogamous relationship is still held up as the ideal.
People discount it too. Whenever I say like, oh yeah, I'm married, they're like, oh my God, congratulations. And then I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm also dating other people. And they're like, oh, do you not love your husband? Are you guys struggling? I'm like, girl, no. If you're struggling, you should not open your relationship. It's only the healthiest couples can open their relationship.
I believe that because it's going to fall apart otherwise. Like,
Totally. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
you have to be grade A plus on the communication and
Plus.
ability, like, and emotional safety for it to work.
Yeah,
Those are the two
yeah,
big
it's
things.
true. I feel so safe with my husband. I know for a fact that he's got my back and he loves me unconditionally. And I love him unconditionally. I'm always here for him. If he needs me, I drop everything and come back. Last year, I was in the UK filming and he had a pop-up store at the Westfield Century City Mall in Beverly Hills. And early on, I asked him, do you want me to come back to it? And he's like, no, it's okay. The flight is so far. It's just an opening. It's fine. But I knew he wanted me to be there because he was a bit uncertain and a bit nervous. Of course, he wanted me to be there. So I flew back for one day to
Whoa.
go to that opening, to be his rock, and then flew back the next day to go directly onto set and film. That's how committed I am. And if people dare say we're not committed because we're non-monogamous, you need to shut the fuck up.
Love this energy. 100%. Also, it's just angers me that people feel that they can even have an opinion on your relationship. They're not in your relationship. No?
Exactly. But people will always have an opinion, which is fine. Freedom of speech, whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? I am here to be an example of a healthy relationship. And whenever you're ready to receive this guidance, information, and inspiration, I'm here, babe.
Yeah. Do you touch on it in the book, Polyamory?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I talk about polyamory and statistics around it and how to successfully have the early conversation. I did not talk in depth about it because it's not a book about poly.
Yeah.
There are so many good books. I think one of them is called Open Secure or something like that.
Polysecure.
Yeah,
Like,
Polysecure. Yeah, I like that book. Polysecure. And then there's also, what was it, 2+1 or something like that. There's quite a few
There
really
are a lot
in-depth.
of books. I think Polysecure is probably one of the most popular ones, but you're right. There is a ton, and this is like the intro. So
Yeah.
everyone needs to go out and get Dr. Tara's book, How Do You Like It? A Guide for Getting What You Want in Bed, because that is what we're all about. We want people to be having the sex lives they hoped they would have. All the orgasms, all the intimacy, all of the self-expression they're looking for, and having the tools. All right, Dr. Tara, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for putting the work into getting this book out into the world. This is such important knowledge for people to have, and you've made it so accessible.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I notice and I know everything that you're doing. I think it's incredible work that you're doing, and you're helping destigmatize something there's huge stigma around that. So I'm so grateful to be on this podcast. Thank you for having me talking about the book. How do you like it? And yeah, I highly recommend everyone get this book. It's your sex Bible.
You will find a link in the show notes so that you can go straight and get your copy now. All right. Thanks for coming on, Dr. Tara.
Of course. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with anyone who might find it interesting. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. Email info@thekinkconsultant.com. Until next time, keep on kinking on.